This is your November 2025 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading. It's Romy. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. We're going to open up this month with the energy of the Ace of Wands. It's all possible, right? But that statement feels quite loaded as well, doesn't it? So you are going to have to choose your path. How do you want to experience this? It's definitely down to you. Things are being amplified and they're happening in ways that feel more extreme in how quickly things can shift, with the nature of how things are shifting. And so there's an intensity to that, but it can also be incredibly productive. It can also be channeled and harnessed and directed. And even though there is this intensity, there's also within you an available lightness now to tap into in a way that you've never felt before. It's a new rhythm for sure. And you're still adjusting. And it may even still feel a little bit surprising to you, shocking even. But it really feels like it's all about the response that you bring. And in some ways, how you're also going to choose to take care of yourself through those responses, because Scorpio season is your 6th house, right? So the rituals, the routines, and the awareness and mindfulness of how service and contribution shows up for you. Knowing what you have to do, but also knowing who you have to be and how you have to take care of yourself in order to fulfill that will be coming through in some way. With the themes that you work with in November. Now, Mars moves into Sagittarius on the 4th, and you become incredibly driven with this. Although there's an opposition that arrives the same day with Uranus, which means that something surprising out of the blue could come in and sort of stir things up. But in a way, it makes you feel more determined in some regards. I think that you're going to have to be mindful of the need to, in some ways, work harder to be in the new frequency and not get pulled back to where old comfort zones and old patterns are trying to lure you. We have another ace, so this influx of new energy for you to tap into in November is pretty palpable. Now, we've got the full moon in Taurus arriving on the 5th. And of course, that's your 12th house. So there is a real sense of release, always simultaneous endings and beginnings happening at once. Now, I think for you, there's a reassurance coming in around that full moon Taurus. There's a reassurance. But at the same token, I feel like that means that you have to kind of cultivate a bravery within yourself. It's almost like something that you felt that you were leaning into shows up or presents itself in a way that gives you some validation, but that also means that you're then in a position where you're going to either have to take an action in regards to something, or that there's some sort of cause and effect as a result of that. But Spirit are working with you. You have the key here, and it almost feels like, you know, the surprising nature of how and the way in which things are shifting and changing is offering opportunities, new insights, new pathways to help facilitate what needs to happen. Now, the thing that I'm going to say to you about November that's really important is the follow through, because half-hearted will not work for you. In fact, it's not working by way of a life experience, right? It's not an option. So you're going to have to look at the things that are showing up, what matters to you, what holds meaning for you, and think about the ways that you can give yourself permission to be all in with that experience, because those aces are still seeds of potential. They still need to be worked and nourished and, you know, sort of created to become and to deliver their potential, right? So we got our energy of the Page of Cups. Now, Venus is moving into Scorpio on the 6th, and we have this desire to want to discover and hold space for a deeper kind of intimacy. And I think with the Page of Cups, there's also like this real benevolence and kindness that is wanting to be received by you. And in a way, I want to say, you know, what is it that you want to flourish in your world? That has to begin with how you are talking about your deservedness of it. It's got to come from a place that you are speaking it into being, from a place of love, coming from love. You've got to be loyal this month, Gemini, loyal to yourself, to the visions that you have, the growth that you've experienced, to the boundaries you've got in place, right? Love is a state of being. How does it show up for you? It's not something that you're going to lose, but there's definitely this requirement, I think, with the 6th house. It's like, how do I find a way to do what I feel like I'm here to do, or to show up in a way that feels like this is who I'm supposed to be, and take care of myself in the same way, okay? Like I said, it's all in your response. Now, it also feels like you've got some really beautiful conversations, I think, coming in with some of these opportunities that feel like they are putting you in quite a reflective place. Now, interestingly, Uranus is going back into Taurus on the 7th, right through to like April, end of April in 26. And so there's a sort of sense of familiarity in a way. You will come back around, you will circle back to something that's been a very dominant part of your life over these last 8 years. I think reflecting on the way in which it changed you, how it shaped your life, what sort of it's brought out in you, and what it's bringing up in you now in this November. You've got the 3 of Wands. You got to have some self-belief this month. You got to be confident. You got to step up and take what is rightfully yours. You've been waiting some time. Look at the length of her hair, right? And in the process, you've learnt many skills. You've developed many gifts. And so it's all in the preparation. And I think November is very much about preparation, but it's also the need to take care of things. Take care of the details, take care of yourself, take care of your health and well-being. And for you, that also comes in 6th house in the day-to-day. It's like the new structures, the new routines, the new choices and decisions that are happening, that are shaping the bigger picture for you. Do not underestimate the significance of what you change in the month of November, and how it's going to help prepare you to be able to receive what's coming in. Okay? And it feels like it's coming in swiftly here in some regards. Now, we're going to be mindful that we've got a Mercury retrograde. We always say it's going to hit you, Gemini, as it does Virgo, with it being your ruler. Now, it's happening in Sagittarius in your 7th house, but it also will move back into Scorpio on the 18th of this month, right? We've got Magician energy. You're going to have to be a little bit focused on working with this, and not feeling like it's coming in, you know, that it's arriving in a way to be a nuisance, but it can be, right? We know this. We know the areas that it can impact. Sagittarius themes, right? But also for you in that 7th house. But your Magician tells me that actually you can make this work for you, because sometimes the slowdown or the pause or the returning to something, and I feel like maybe that's what it is. It's like you're returning to something, but there's new energy and you're seeing it with new eyes now. Now, I think there's some sort of reward, actually, that wants to show up through that retrograde season, because it's then further amplified, if you like, with Jupiter going retrograde in Cancer on the 11th, which is going to be, of course, our 1111 portal energy to be working with as well. So that's your 2nd house, right? So it feels like there's a blessing, there's a reward, there's something coming through that is connected to follow through, okay? It's also the understanding that, you know, as you open your eyes and you look up, where are you, right? Spirit have placed you where you are in your thinking, in your location, in your relationships, like wherever it is. They've placed you there for a reason. There is service and contribution about what it is you've learned, what it is you're meant to be embarking upon, what it is you're about to do, what is being asked of you. That's the question to literally direct to Spirit. What is being asked of me right now in terms of where I find myself? And I think that, you know, you have what you need. Magician says that the resources are at your fingertips right now. It's the way that you change things up. It's the way that you use what you have and what you know. And the remembering of that, I think, to a certain degree, the confidence that comes in, and how that is then expressed and directed in your relationships, in your work path, in I think your processing even of what 2025 has delivered to you, okay? Now, Vesta, asteroid goddess, shifts into Capricorn on the 15th, and there's a sort of steadying influence that comes in there. Remember, she's the custodian of heart and home, that sacred inner flame. You're protecting something that's yours. You're also protecting something, but knowing the way that you want to take this forward. You know, Capricorn is an ambitious energy, and it is very able to adapt to shifting and changing circumstances in order to continue to work towards and achieve its goals. And there's something about, you know, that stewardship, that guardianship of something that's really precious within you. Even if it's that seed, that new idea, something that's showing up, coming together, that you're going to be really mindful of mid-month. Now, the new moon in Scorpio is magnetic, right? And it indicates that this influx of new energy is perhaps also arriving for you in regards to the way that you show up in the day-to-day and how that service and contribution is being more understood or clarified for you in some regard. And I think that there's a focus actually that comes about, which is maybe supported with the retrograde, because actually if you look outside for yourself, everything just looks like chaos. So the only option here to make any sense of anything is to come back to the self and just go, well, okay, that's what's going on out there, but what's going on in here? What's happening for me right now? Where do I find myself? What am I being asked to focus upon? That's where you'll find your answers, and that's where you'll get the real breakthroughs to be able to harness that new moon. We're going to shift into Sagittarius energy on the 21st, right? And what we'll also see is Saturn stationing direct on the 27th, and then Mercury direct on the 29th, okay? So powerful sort of culminating energies toward the end of November into your 7th house, which means that perhaps there's a real focus on one-on-one relationships. There's some shadow work coming up here. With the Emperor showing up, it tells me that you might be looking at leaning into some themes and issues around that paternal line, you know, sort of control, of you know, caretaking, security, stability, you know, maybe relationships with men, particularly in all of their facets, not just the romantic, kind of being highlighted in some way, shape or form. But there's also this sense of planning and execution. It's almost just like, you know, the confidence, the ideas, the sort of coming together with something. The Emperor can translate that into knowing how to act, when to act, and, you know, what's needed, what's required. And I think that you know, you have these archetypes to tap into, you know, two powerful majors showing up for you here, the Magician and the Emperor. You know, so you can make things happen here, but it's also about understanding like how to harness that energy so it doesn't kind of go a bit wild and feel a bit erratic, okay? Because there's something about that sort of, you know, almost like it being hard to grasp in November. So there's a sort of diligence to want to try to refine or to control something, you know, whether it's feelings, energies, emotions, you know, whatever the situation is. Like I said, remember, it's all possible. But that means it's all possible in all of the ways. And so you're going to have to choose, you know, what is the experience that I want for myself? What is the way I want to interpret the world right now? What do I want to see? What do I want to do to continue to support my soul's evolution? There's a bid for freedom here in some way. And I think you'll get that sort of green light energy. But you're going to have wanted to find some way to kind of control this energy. Otherwise, it just feels like toward the end of November, you're kind of spinning out, right? So bring it back in and think about, you know, what is the next step that I want to take? Now, don't be feeling the pressure of there's only so many weeks left of this year, you know. It's just all about where you at right now. Be more present, be more mindful in that knowing. There's almost like a melancholy, collective sadness that's very difficult to not feel very overwhelmed by and affected by very deeply. And it's in that ritual and routine in that taking care of oneself, in that focusing on bringing in more light and working on your energy field, that you can maintain and continue to build that sense of renewal, that power that you're going to need, that energy, that momentum that is required. It's all in your response. What is it going to take? It's going to take your focus. It's going to take your commitment. It's going to take, what is it that I am trying to achieve here in this experience, this job, this relationship, this family dynamic, this friendship? What part of life is Spirit having you focus on right now, Gemini? And what is it asking of you? Okay. So, if you are new to the channel, our last 3 cards we're going to look at in the extended reading. We talk for another 25 minutes or so. We'll look at personal and a relationship card for you also. I hope you'll be able to join me. It's so appreciated. It just helps me to keep showing up for the free readings. So if you are resonating and in a position to do so, you'll find the link below. I'm going to go ahead and just clarify these cards, and we'll see the direction that we're going to take this reading for you for November. Let's take a look. 2 swords coming through here, and the energy of the devil. 2 of pentacles, 7 of swords. So please check out all of my seasonal offers that come through in the month of November. You're going to find the link at romywiser.com, and that will also give you access to ways to work with me and all my sacred titles, everything that I'm creating and using to help support you for your spiritual journey. That's our 3rd ace showing up for you this month. What about this Emperor, King of Wands, and the Hierophant coming through there? Okay, I think there is something about the commitment that you make, the commitment that you make toward the path that you're on. Okay, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle, just see how it wants to come through to join this conversation. We've got root energy built from love. We've got portals of possibility here. We've got eclipse revelations, destiny speaks, spirals of love and grief, the collective heart, and soul star energy, conscious connection. Okay. Right, let's look at one more oracle for Gemini. This is for the month of November. Oh, actually you got 2, so we're just going to take them. We've got setting boundaries, and we also have healing earth. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much, Gemini. I really appreciate you. Let's continue this conversation. The link is below. I'm going to see you again next time. Take good care. Bye for now.